Hi YouTube, this is Danielle, the domestic scientist, and today I'm bringing you a very special DIY video. Now I am participating in the Craft Her Stash challenge, and I received a mystery gift box from Indiana Jones, and today I'm going to show you how I turn these mystery items into beautiful Christmas DIYs, so stay tuned. So one of the first things that I'm going to work on are these snowflake paint trays. So when I saw these, I thought they were really cool, and I said, oh, this will be a great place to store my paint as I'm painting other items from the mystery box, especially because these paint trays are useful in giving you an area to actually mix your paints so you can get that perfect hue. But as I kept looking at it, I was like, I really like the snowflake shape, and instead of using it in the most practical sense, I can transform it into a Christmas ornament. So the first thing I'm going to do to turn this into a Christmas ornament is I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut out each of the cells that holds the paint, and I just want to keep behind that raised portion that has that outline and skeleton of a snowflake. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go in and embellish it. So I'm going to do two different types of snowflakes today using two different types of crystals. Now my first set of crystals comes in a bag that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it does have a variety of crystal sizes. So on the inside of the snowflake, I'm going to go with some of my smaller crystals, and then I'm going to go with like that medium size out on the edge, and then as we come to the very corners of the snowflake, I'm going to use the largest crystals that I have. So my goal is to completely cover the skeleton outline in crystals so that you have this nice, beautiful, soft sparkle all throughout the Christmas ornament. So for my second look, I have a little bit of a crystal ribbon that I purchased from Hobby Lobby as well. Now this ribbon is absolutely gorgeous, and it actually has like a real like cubic zirconia style stone on it. I know sometimes when you get bling wrap, it's made of plastic, and so it really doesn't have the luster and the sheen that you want, but this is more of a higher quality crystal, so it is absolutely beautiful and catches the light, and quite frankly the camera does not do it justice. Now at Hobby Lobby they had two different finishes, but I'm going today with the iridescent finish. Now the back of this crystal ribbon is like a clear rubbery style material, and the ribbon has several rows of crystal, and what I'm going to do is I'm trying to get that perfect width, so I am going to cut between every 2 rows of crystals just so that I can completely cover that skeletal outline. And so this takes a little bit of work, but the best thing to do is to just stretch it a little bit to expose more of that rubbery material, and then take the X-Acto knife and really make those precision cuts. So once I get enough cuts and enough pieces of crystal, I'm then going to go in with some glue and glue each one of the crystal strips down to my skeletal outline, and I should come out with a beautiful white snowflake covered in crystals. Now I should mention that Hobby Lobby does have 2 of these crystal ribbons. One of them is just a plain white crystal, and the other one is like an iridescent crystal, and that's the one I'm using today. It has a little bit of a pearlized finish, and it has multiple different color hues that you can see coming off the crystal. I happened to choose this one because I thought it was great for a winter wonderland type of look. So if you happen to see my unboxing video, you will know that I had this little miniature dresser, and I was a little stressed over what to do with it because I didn't just want to paint it and make it into an ornament and hang it on the tree. So I kept looking at it and trying to figure out what it would look like deconstructed if I used just certain components of it. And because of the size, I think it's still going to wind up being an ornament, but I wanted to make it look completely different than it did in the package. The other item that I got in my mystery box was these muffin paper cups, and so I am going to just cut the center out of that and use it as a medallion. Now what I did is I took the top off of the miniature dresser, and then I painted the inside of it red. It looks a little bit like a Santa sleigh. So I have a little bit of leather material left over from a previous DIY. If you haven't seen my previous Christmas ornament DIY videos, I will have a link in the description box to that video as well. I then took some popsicle sticks and I painted them black because I'm going to use that as blades for the sled. Now initially I tried to attach it to the bottom of the box using some B6000, and that wound up not being a good idea, so I wound up having to go back over it with hot glue just to make sure that the blades stood up. And then when it comes to the side, I did put just a little bit of leather trim and then a little bit of a crystal overlay on top of the leather as well. And then I wanted to finish up the free edge of the popsicle sticks with a little bit of touch-up black paint. So the next item that I received in my mystery box are these Belle Ornaments. Now, I thought they were so cute, but I wasn't quite sure what color I wanted to paint them. So I decided to go with the traditional red, since most of my decor for this season has been red and green. But I decided to just kick it up a notch by putting some letters right on top. I got these wooden letters from Michael's earlier this year, and I'm just going to put some letters on it and spell out a word in my home decor. I also have these little burlap bows that I'm going to put on top of them as well, and I'm just going to use a standard ornament hook so that I can attach them to a tree or a wreath or anything else. Now I think these flat ornaments are really cool, and I like the fact that they're so versatile. I could put them on top of a homemade Christmas card or on top of a gift that I'm wrapping, but for this particular video I am going to use it on my tree. Okay, so the next item that I received in my mystery box are these glass ornaments. Now, I have already posted a DIY ornament segment using some of these types of glass ornaments earlier this season, and I do have one more follow-up to come. So because I painted those ornaments and did some interesting patterns with them, I wanted to do something really different for this particular DIY collaboration. So I decided to use some Mod Podge and cover this particular ornament in some silver glitter. So I used a paint sponge and I applied a very healthy amount of Mod Podge, and then I rolled the glitter in to allow it to stick, and then I'm going to finish it with some more Mod Podge once it dries. And I love the way this turned out because I have a beautiful ornament that is absolutely sparkly. So now for that final mystery item I have been stressing over for quite some time. I was given these beaded necklaces by Indiana Jones, and the thing that threw me off about them was the color palette. This year I'm doing very traditional red and green in my home, and so the brighter, more pastel-like colors really did not fit into my Christmas aesthetic. Now my first impulse was to try to paint them a red or a green, but in doing so I would lose out that iridescent luster that they have, and I really didn't want to do that. My second thought was to go ahead and put them in a bag and crush them up and use them like a chunky glitter. However, I was a little bit on the fence about doing that because if I was to do it and I failed, there's no going back and I couldn't replace the beads. So I decided to take a slightly different approach. Now earlier this season I had made some DIY Christmas cones, and the issue I was having was really what to do with the base, because you want the cone to be glamorous but you also want the base to be glamorous. So I found these cardboard Christmas cones at my local Hobby Lobby, and they're so great for doing DIY cones. So I decided to see what it would look like if I used these beads as the base of my cone, simply because it's in pink. Now, if you followed my channel, I did do another glam living room look earlier this year where I featured some pink sequins that I used as a throw. And I also used this pink sequins in doing some DIY placemats for one of my first DIY videos that I did earlier as well. So because I had some leftover material, I thought this sequins would be great for a Christmas cone, and because it's pink, I thought it would pair best with the beads. So I am going to use some of this nice glue, and I'm going to attach the beads to the bottom to make a nice base for my Christmas cone, and the top is going to be covered in this glittery sequins. Now I am going to use a very healthy amount of Mod Podge to attach the sequins, and I'm just going to kind of roll it on, and then I'm going to put a little bit more Mod Podge to the outside to make sure that everything sticks. And then I'm going to let it dry and show you the final results of today's DIYs. So as you take a look at my final DIY projects, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss another upload from me. Now today's video is a part of a YouTube collaboration entitled Craft Her Stash, and the host for this collaboration is Melissa Makes It DIY. Now she brought together a group of ladies: Connie's Nails and Creative Creations, DIY House to Home, OK at Home DIY, Indy Annie Jones, and of course myself, Danielle, the domestic scientist. Now for this project, each of the ladies was to mail one of the other ladies a mystery box, and each of the ladies was to receive a mystery box. Once we receive our mystery box, we're supposed to come up with some great DIY projects containing those items. So be sure to take a look at the description box below and check out all the other channels as well as the challenge playlist. I am so excited about seeing the other projects and the creative ideas these other ladies have come up with, so I am headed over now. This is Danielle, the domestic scientist, reminding you to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.